Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is a mid-decorating review of The Last of Us Episode 1 from HBO, brand new series based on the video game The Last of Us, which came out a number of years ago. Second game came out a couple of years ago as well. Both very well received games. The first game especially was universally acclaimed. The second game, again, universally acclaimed. However, some of the story beats within that game led to a few controversies. I'm not going to bother discussing that here. It's just a bit of context, really, for myself. Now, this series, I was very nervous about The Last of Us coming together as a television series. For a number of reasons. The first game, especially for me, was one of the best games I've ever played, video game wise. And couple that with some sort of nervousness that had grown in the wake of the way Game of Thrones ended. Made me question the ability or really the desire, that anyone would have in creating this series in a way that's respectful and utilizes the good quality story beats of the game. Because for me, the game itself, it was all about the story. It was less about what you do within the game, the violence, the acts that you commit. It was all about what the characters do, how they evolve, how they become lovable characters in the game, which again leads on to why the second game personally didn't work for me. Left me a bit disappointed. But again, I'm not going to discuss that here. We'll discuss that when it comes to it in the show. This premiere episode, there's been a lot of build-up, a lot of hype in the video game community and in the TV-based community. A lot of, again, back and forth. Is this going to be like the Halo show, which, yes, seems to be doing well, but completely sidesteps a lot of the lore and story beats from the video game universe. Again, that doesn't work for me either, but that's a different story. I've not even touched on Halo, and I don't think I will. And then, likewise, with regards to the Uncharted movie and video game adaptations in general, what do you include? What do you cut out? What do you reference? What do you build on? Do you utilize what you've already got there in the format? Do you change it and mix it up like we see in like the Marvel universe, DC universe, things like that? So it was interesting for me to start seeing and noticing and reading that they were going to try and hone in specifically on what we see in the video game and not really delve too much beyond that. Which again, for a TV show is interesting. For building character is even more interesting. But this premiere episode absolutely nails every single beat of the opening segment of the game. It is possibly one of the most perfect, and I hesitate to use recreation, but essentially that's what it is. It's possibly one of the most perfect and most accurate recreations, shot for shot, of some of the elements we see in the video game. And that, with that in mind, that shouldn't really put you off if you've not played the video games, because it is, you can tell there's a lot of reverence been put into this episode and possibly into this series going forward. I'm not going to speculate too much about what happens. Obviously, I've played the game thoroughly several times. I'm not going to speculate on what we see and what we don't see. However, you can tell there is a lot of love and desire to get this right, to get this perfect, to get the characters perfect, and yet give them some semblance of their own, flesh and blood story, their own realistic story with the actors that are portraying these characters. The opening half an hour of this episode is incredible. It's intense, it's terrifying, it's thought-provoking, it's sad, it's shocking. It does everything that, again, like the video game, it got you excited, it got you worried, got you stressed, got you thinking, what the hell is going on? And Pedro Pascal absolutely sells every single second of the opening segment, and this entire episode, to be quite honest. And the opening moments of this episode, we do spend a lot of time with spoilers. Pedro Pascal's daughter in this. So it's set 20 years before now, and obviously there's a major incident. We don't know too much about it, but things start happening, people start changing, becoming monsters, and it all goes horribly wrong. I'm not going to spoil too much because it's something that you need to see, really, but it all goes wrong, and then we cut to 20 years later, and poor old Pedro Pascal playing Joel is utterly dishevelled. He's become a shadow of the man that he was, and everything sort of builds from here. The world looks beautiful already. Maybe a little too bright, I think. I don't know. So the opening shot we see in sort of present time, but obviously dystopian present time. It looks very nice. It looks very clean, which is a bizarre thing to say because obviously there's debris and destruction everywhere. But it looks tidy, and I think that might be, is that a CGI issue? Possibly. But coming away from that, everything looks visually well crafted. The world is obviously completely decimated. It's desolate. People are fucked, basically, and you get a real sense of that in this episode from the characters, the behavior, the mannerisms, what they're doing to each other without hesitation as well. And that's the key thing about the video game. It's the fact that people do not hesitate to do terrible things. I've got a lot of hope going forward that we will see much more of that. Obviously, we come across Ellie in this episode, played by Bella Ramsey, and straight to the point, immediately she echoes a lot of the mannerisms we see of Ellie in the video game, and it's beautifully done. It's beautifully done. Like I said, the echoing, the one-to-one accuracy of this compared to the video game is second to none. It's second to none. It's beautifully crafted, it's beautifully created, lovingly acted, purposefully acted as well. Cinematography is superb so far. Soundtrack is, again, I wouldn't have thought they'd do it. I thought they might create their own soundtrack, but it's exactly the same. It mirrors everything that we've seen in the video game. It's haunting, it's melancholic. I shudder to think what we're gonna come across soon and how it's going to progress, because this is only an introduction, this episode, really. We're sort of being gently guided through. We see things, we see images of these creatures and this fungus which has taken over the world, spoilers obviously, and there is horror to come, and I cannot wait. I am very excited, and I think this episode is the prime example of setting everything up nicely, showing video game fans and new followers, new fans, this is the world that you know, this is how we've done it, it's for you. And then for new people, welcome to this world. It's easy access. We can show you around for this first hour. We can tell you what's going on. We can show you the behavior of the world. Coming soon, you're going to shit the bed. And that's what I hope we get. So, like I said, I'm not going to delve too much into the future because there's no point, despite my own reservations about what's to come and where we're going to go. You know, we're here in the present with this episode, and it is a very, very good episode. Like I said, there's a few little niggles, some of the way it looks and whatever, but that was a wide shot. I've got a few question marks possibly over some of the but sorry, my phone just decided to make a bit of a mistake there. But we'll see. We'll see where we go. This is the problem of recording on your phone, especially when you've got no equipment. Everything just goes wrong. But we'll see what happens going forward. I'm going to give this opening episode a 9 out of 10 because I really, really enjoyed it. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Looking forward to next week. Looking forward to the horror. Christ almighty, it's going to be terrifying. I was bricking it through this episode as well. It's a good thing. That's when you know you've got something good. When you know what is already happening in this world with these characters, and yet you still feel that tension, that nervous energy. I didn't expect to feel that because I knew what was going to happen. I knew the specific beats that we were being shown, and yet I still felt especially in that opening half an hour, I still felt dread and fear. Well done. Well done. Absolutely well done. So yeah, I will see you next week for episode 2. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more reviews and commentaries, more interruptions from the phone, the perils of recording on the fly. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.